It's the middle of the night. The house is finally quiet. And instead of sleeping, you're lying there doing math in your head. Is there enough in the account for daycare and groceries and whatever the school just emailed about? If you're a working mom, I bet you had that nagging fear that you're making some huge money mistake, but you just can't put your finger on what it is. Well, it turns out that feeling is usually justified. And there's one single pitfall that trips up almost every working mom I know, and it has nothing to do with how much money you make or how brilliant you are. I've been a working mom myself, so trust me, I've been there. Let's face it, life is already chaotic enough, but you don't need to just be winging your finances. The chaos is expensive, and it shows up as late fees, missed chances to save, and that constant low-grade stress that you're just always one step behind. Hi, I'm Emily, your big sister in finance and financially free mom of two. On this channel, we make money clear, relatable, and actually useful while we figure out life and money together. If this is what you need right now, then hit subscribe, because today I'm walking you through the #1 money mistake working moms make and the 4 expensive pitfalls it creates and exactly how to fix all of it. Not with a perfect color-coded spreadsheet, but with a simple system built for real messy life. So let's start by naming the mistake clearly, because naming it is half the battle. The biggest mistake working moms make is not building a simple system to protect their money before it gets messy. And with kids, life always gets messy. Without a few basic structures in place like automation, an emergency fund, a clear plan for your spending, all that normal everyday family stress quietly turns into leaks, debt, and long-term insecurity. And here's the thing I want you to sit with. Being a working mom means your brain is a browser with 50 tabs open at all times. Schedules, meal plans, work deadline, and who needs to be where, and all that emotional weather of small humans. The last thing you have energy for is a complicated budget that makes you feel guilty just for buying a coffee. So that's the trap. We assume managing money has to be this huge, exhausting chore. So instead, we just do nothing. We just operate day to day, crossing our fingers. There's enough for the next bill and the next groceries run. The next, mom, I need. But the hope is not financial strategy. And I need you to hear the most important sentence probably in the whole video. The problem is not a lack of willpower, and it is absolutely not a lack of intelligence. It's the lack of a system. That's what creates the leak. The late night Amazon order fueled by pure exhaustion. The forgotten subscription draining every month. The I'll deal with it later that turns a small problem into an expensive one. You've heard that oxygen mask rule on every flight, right? Secure your own mask before helping others. Your finances work exactly the same way. Getting your own money stable isn't selfish. It's one of the most responsible things you can do for your family, because a mom who isn't quietly panicking about money is a more present, more patient, and a more empowered mom. A money system isn't one more chore on your never-ending list. It's actually the opposite. A machine that runs in the background, protects your family, and hands you back your mental energy. And the lack of one shows up as 4 specific costly pitfalls. So let's walk through all 4 and try to fix them. Pitfall number 1, living without a spending plan. And notice I said spending plan, not budget, and that's deliberate. For a lot of us, the word budget feels like a diet for your money. Restrictive, joyless, and basically designed to make you fail by Wednesday. A spending plan is different. It doesn't scream no. It just answers one calm question. Where's the money going? Because here's the real issue for busy moms. It's almost never the big lavish purchases. It's the little things that keep stacking up. So the coffee on the daycare run, the extra takeout because you're too fried to cook, the quick Target trip that somehow ends at $90 and a cart full of things that nobody needed. Without a plan, money doesn't get spent, it just evaporates. And the fix is not tracking every single penny. You don't have the bandwidth for that, and I would never ask you to. The fix is a simple, flexible framework. A great starting point is the 50-30-20 guideline. So 50% of your take-home pay for needs, housing, utilities, groceries, 30% for wants, eating out, hobbies, fun, and 20% towards saving and paying down debt. But please don't get hung up on hitting those percentages exactly. If childcare is swallowing a huge chunk of your income, and for so many of us it is, your numbers are going to look different, and that's totally fine. The percentages aren't the point. Being intentional is the point. So here's your actual first step, right? Pull up your bank statements from the last 2 months and just look. No judgment. Where is the money really going? Any subscriptions in there you forgot about? Are you spending more on convenience than you realized? That's the whole exercise. A spending plan doesn't restrict you, it protects you. It's how you finally tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Pitfall number 2 is a big one. Having no real emergency fund. Life with kids is gloriously unpredictable. The car dies. The AC quits in a July heat wave. A kid needs stitches. A job disappears. None of these are rare, and they're basically guaranteed to happen eventually. And without an emergency fund, every one of them turns from an annoyance to a full-blown crisis. Because how do you pay for it? For most people, the answer is a high-interest credit card. And just like that, a one-time problem because a long-term debt cycle that is brutally hard to break. You pay off one emergency, and then the next one shows up, and you slide further behind. It's exhausting, it's stressful, and it's incredibly expensive. An emergency fund is simply the buffer between you and a crisis. It's what lets you handle a $1,000 car repair with a sigh instead of a panic attack. Now, the classic advice is to save 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. And if you're starting from zero, that number is so big, it's almost paralyzing. So let's just ignore it for today. Your first goal is not 6 months. Your first goal is $1,000. That's it. Surveys consistently find that most Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 surprise from their savings. So just hitting that number already puts you ahead of the majority, and it's often enough to stop that credit card cycle before it starts. And you build it in the same way you'll build everything in the system. Start small and automate. Open a separate high yield savings account, separate so you're not tempted. High yield so it actually earns a little bit while it sits there. And then set up an automatic transfer every payday. $20, $50, whatever genuinely works. The amount matters far less than you just being consistent. You set it once and then the fund grows in the background without you having to white knuckle a single decision. That's not a luxury. That is peace of mind on autopilot. Pitfall number 3 might be the most dangerous of all, pushing your own retirement to the back burner. And honestly, I get exactly why we do it. Your kids' needs are loud and immediate. Braces, summer camp, the college fund. Retirement feels like a quiet little problem for future you to handle someday. So it loses the fight for your dollars every time. But here's the hard truth, and I say it because I care about you. For women, falling behind on retirement isn't an inconvenience. It can become a genuine crisis. As a group, we're playing against real headwinds. We're more likely to step out of our careers to raise kids. We tend to live longer than men, so our money has to stretch further. And the pay gap can quietly shrink our lifetime earnings. Delaying is a bet we just can't afford to make. But here's the good news, though. The single biggest factor in your retirement isn't how much you save, it's when you start. That's the magic of compound growth. Money you invest in your 30s has decades to grow on itself. Waiting even a few years can quietly cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars down the line. So retirement becomes a non-negotiable part of your system, automated just like your emergency fund. And here's your priority order. If your employer offers a 401k with a match, contributing enough to get that full match is job number 1. That match is literally free money, a guaranteed return you won't find anywhere else. So never leave that on the table. And one mindset shift, because it's everything, saving for your own retirement is not taking something away from your children. It is one of the greatest gifts that you'll ever give them, the gift of never having to financially support you later in life. You're protecting your own independence and freeing them to build their own lives. And that brings us to pitfall number 4, the one that quietly sabotages all the others, relying on willpower. Here's why this matters so much. The reason we don't stick to the spending plan, don't build the emergency fund, and don't fund our retirement, it's almost never that we didn't care enough. It's that we ran out of willpower. And as a busy working mom, your willpower is finite, heavily taxed resource. By 8 p.m., it is gone. Trust me, I know, I've been there. You can't count on yourself to remember to move money to savings after every bill is paid. You cannot count on willpower to block an impulse buy when you're exhausted and stretched thin. And that's not a flaw, that's just decision fatigue, and it's a real, well-documented force. So the solution is to take yourself, your stress, your tired brain, your spent willpower out of the equation entirely. The solution is automation. This is the actual system. You set it up once and it does the heavy lifting every single month, whether you're having a great week or a complete disaster of one. And here's what it looks like in practice. Automate your income, so direct deposit your paycheck. Automate your savings, so set up automatic transfers to your emergency fund and retirement the day you get paid, so you pay your future self first before that money is ever within spending range. And automate your bills. Put your predictable bills on autopay, rent or mortgage, utilities, car payment, insurance. That alone wipes out late fees and a surprising amount of mental clutter. And here's the beautiful part. Whatever is left in your checking account after all of that, that's your spending money for the month. Groceries, gas, fun, all of it. No math required. Your biggest priorities were already handled automatically without you lifting a finger. And that's what the system actually is. It's not about being perfect. It's about building a structure that keeps working on the days that you just are done. All right, so let's bring it home. The biggest money mistake working moms make is not a character flaw. You're not bad with money. You're not a bad mom. You're just missing one thing, a simple automated system to cut through the chaos. And that one gap creates these 4 pitfalls that we just walked through. Living without a spending plan, having no emergency fund, putting your retirement last, and running on willpower. And the best news of the whole video, they all have the same fix. So just build that one simple system that puts your financial goals on autopilot, and you don't solve these problems one at a time. You solve them all at once. You do not have to fix everything tonight. The goal is progress, not perfection. So just pick one thing, just one, to do this week. Open the high yield savings account, set up a $25 automatic transfer. Log in, check what your 401k is actually contributing. One small automated step is the entire beginning of a system that will quietly protect you and your family for years. And that one step is exactly what I want to hear about. So if this video helped you, do that thing, take that one small action today and tell me in the comments what it's going to be. What's your one step you're going to do this week? Say it out loud, write it down here. Reading your comments genuinely keeps this whole community going, and honestly, it'll help keep you accountable too. If you want more simple, practical money help made for busy moms, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.